Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into some sources that really challenge, the standard way we look at health, the body, even reality itself. We're moving past that purely mechanical view, the sort of body as a machine idea, and exploring sources that talk about energy, about consciousness, and this deep connectivity between things.
That's right. And these aren't just, fringe ideas or the latest wellness fads. We're looking at research, some of it going back over 30 years,
Hmm.
and therapeutic principles that are, gosh, a century old in some cases.
Right.
The core idea cutting across all this material is that there's profound energetic communication happening inside us and maybe outside too.
Okay, ambitious goal today then. We want to try and connect three, well, seemingly pretty different areas. First, there's heart-brain coherence, mainly from the HeartMath Institute's work. Then something quite different, this therapeutic energy technology called frequency-specific microcurrent, or FSM. And finally, the really big picture stuff theories about how the universe itself might be interconnected, like the field or the holographic universe idea.
Exactly. And the thread tying them together is this concept of energy and information, whether it's inside your body, applied therapeutically, or underpinning, well, everything.
Right. So let's start close to home, I guess. Inside ourselves, the heart-mind connection. You mentioned the HeartMath Institute, HMI. They're all about heart coherence. What exactly is coherence in their view?
Yeah, HMI's work is foundational here. Coherence, for them, it's basically a state of optimal function. When your heart, your mind, your emotions, your physical body, they're all working together harmoniously, like a symphony playing in tune. And they've got, as I said, over 30 years of research suggesting that when you achieve this state, your whole physiology changes, becomes more efficient, more resilient.
Okay, so it's an internal state alignment. How do they break that down?
They talk about it on three scales. First is personal coherence. This is the one you cultivate inside yourself. It's about consciously activating positive heart feelings. Care, gratitude, kindness, that sort of thing. When you do that consistently, the research shows you actually build resilience. You handle stress better, make clearer decisions, and just feel less drained by mental and emotional pressure.
That makes intuitive sense. Manage your inner state, feel better, function better. But HMI seems to suggest it goes beyond just personal benefit.
It does, because that internal state isn't entirely internal. It creates measurable energetic fields. This leads to the second level, social coherence. Imagine a group of people, maybe a team or family. When individuals in that group are in a state of personal coherence, it sort of creates a collective field.
Yeah.
HMI suggests this taps into a kind of group heart intelligence. Communication becomes more authentic, collaboration smoother, the whole group dynamic lifts.
So my internal state can actually influence the group dynamic.
That's the idea. Your energetic field interacts with others. And if you scale that up even further, you get to the third level, global coherence. This is the big one. It's the idea that the collective coherence of everyone on the planet contributes to an overall global energetic field. Each person choosing personal coherence adds momentum, potentially uplifting consciousness on a planetary scale.
Wow, okay, that's a huge concept, but I noticed the sources mention practical tools HMI offers. It's not just theory.
No, definitely not. They have technology like the M-Wave or inner balance sensors. These are tools, often apps connected to sensors, that let you see your heart rate variability in real time. You can literally watch how your heart rhythms change as you practice coherence techniques. It makes it tangible, measurable biophysics, not just a nice feeling.
Okay, so we can learn to regulate our internal energy, our coherence. What about applying energy from the outside, therapeutically? That brings us to the second area, frequency-specific microcurrent, FSM. Quite different.
Very different focus, yes, but still rooted in energy and vibration. FSM, developed by Dr. Carolyn McMacken, is about using external energy for healing, but with incredible precision. First, the microcurrent part. It uses an extremely low level of electrical current microamps. That's like 1,000 times weaker than a standard TNS unit people use for pain. You usually can't even feel it.
1,000th. Why so low?
Because the theory is it matches the body's own natural current levels. It's about working with the body's subtle energy, not overwhelming it, but the current itself is only half the story. The other half is frequency specific. That microcurrent is delivered at very specific frequencies, measured in hertz. And these frequencies seem to act like tuning forks. The idea is that specific frequencies resonate with specific tissues like a nerve or muscle or fascia, or specific conditions like inflammation or scarring.
Resonance, okay. And the sources mention a pretty dramatic effect on cellular energy, right? Something about ATP.
Yes, that's one of the most cited findings. Published studies showed FSM can increase ATP production, that's the basic energy molecule in our cells, by up to 500%.
500%, that sounds enormous. What does that actually do for healing?
Well, think about it. Injured or inflamed cells are often in an energy-depleted state. They're just trying to survive, suddenly giving them up to 5 times more energy.
Mm.
It's like giving a construction crew vastly more resources. They can suddenly perform repairs, reduce inflammation, clear out debris. All the natural healing processes that were stalled due to lack of energy can kick into high gear. It fuels the body's own repair mechanisms.
And you mentioned specificity. How does FSM achieve that targeting?
It uses 2 channels simultaneously. So the device has 2 frequency outputs. One channel is set to the frequency for the condition you want to address, say, reduce inflammation or dissolve scar tissue. The second channel is set to the frequency for the tissue you want to target, maybe nerve or tendon or fascia. It's the combination of those 2 specific frequencies that creates the targeted effect right where it's needed.
That's really specific. And the history here is fascinating, too. It sounds like this isn't some brand new invention.
Not at all. That's one of those interesting parts. Frequency therapies, using electrical devices with specific frequencies, were actually quite common in the early 1900s. Thousands of doctors were using them.
So what happened? Why did it disappear?
Well, medicine took a different path. The Flexner Report, around 1910, heavily influenced medical education and practice to focus almost exclusively on drugs and surgery. Things based on energy or electricity fell out of favor. By the 1930s, these frequency devices were effectively pushed out, sometimes even legally restricted. The knowledge was essentially lost to mainstream medicine.
Lost knowledge. Until when?
Until 1995, really. The story goes that Dr. McNakin acquired a list of frequencies that came from a device built in 1922. This list had been preserved by an osteopath named Harry Van Gelder since the 40s. She started experimenting, combining these old frequencies with modern, precise microcurrent technology. And it worked. So FSM is really a revival, a rediscovery, blending old knowledge with new tech.
Incredible story. Okay, so we've gone from internal coherence to specific external energy application. Now let's zoom out, way out, to the nature of reality itself. This is where sources drawing on people like Lynn McTaggart and Michael Talbot come in. They suggest this energy and connection isn't just biological, it's cosmic.
Exactly. We're moving into the realm of theoretical physics and cosmology here. Lynn McTaggart's work focuses heavily on the field, specifically the zero-point field, or ZPF. The ZPF isn't empty space. It's described as this underlying sea of quantum energy absolutely teeming with fluctuations everywhere, all the time. McTaggart calls it a cobweb of energy exchange.
A sea of energy connecting everything.
That's the core idea. It's proposed as the fundamental medium that connects everything in the universe. It's the bridge, potentially, between mind and matter, between classical physics and quantum weirdness. And, importantly, it offers a potential scientific framework for phenomena that science has struggled to explain, things like ESP, distant healing, remote viewing. If everything is connected via this field, maybe information can travel through it in ways we don't fully understand yet.
Okay, if the ZPF is the connection medium, what about this other idea mentioned? The holographic universe. That sounds even more radical.
It is pretty mind-bending. This theory comes largely from physicist David Bohm, who worked with Einstein, and neurophysiologist Carl Pribram. They independently arrived at similar ideas. Their proposal basically is that the universe, the solid reality we perceive around us, might actually be a projection, like a hologram.
A projection, like not real.
Well, real in the sense that we experience it, but perhaps constructed differently than we assume. The idea is that the whole is encoded in every part, just like a hologram fragment contains the whole image. And crucially, they suggested that our own consciousness, our minds, might play a role in creating or interpreting this holographic construct. We're not just passive observers, we might be co-creating reality.
Co-creating reality, wow. What does that kind of theory even attempt to explain?
It tries to tackle some deep mysteries. Unsolved puzzles in physics, for sure, but also those really subjective, hard-to-pin-down human experiences. Telepathy, near-death experiences where people report floating outside their bodies, mystical states of unity, even seemingly miraculous healings. The holographic model offers a potential, if radical, explanatory framework.
Okay, this is huge stuff. How do we tie this back? We started with the heart's measurable field. Does that research connect to these vast cosmic theories of the ZPF or the holographic universe?
It provides a potential bridge, yes. Remember how we talked about HMI's research? They found the heart generates a powerful magnetic field, much stronger than the brain's field. And crucially, this field doesn't stop at your skin. It radiates outward, several feet around the body, and it can be measured with sensitive instruments.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. They've done studies suggesting that one person's heart field, Specifically, the pattern of their heart rhythms reflecting their emotional state can affect another person's brain waves and heart rhythms when they're nearby.
So my heart's energy field literally impacts someone else.
That's what the HMI research indicates. Your coherence, or lack of it, is being broadcast. So if your personal energetic state demonstrably radiates and influences others,
Mm.
it lends empirical weight to the larger theories. It provides a tangible example of the kind of interconnection that the ZPF and holographic universe models propose on a cosmic scale. Your personal coherence becomes your contribution to this universal interconnected field.
Right, it makes the cosmic feel a bit more personal, I guess. So let's try and pull these threads together for you, the listener. We've journeyed through three very different areas: personal well-being via heart coherence, targeted healing with FSM's energy medicine, and the fundamental nature of reality with the field and the holographic universe. What's the common takeaway?
I think the core insight is the power of vibration, resonance, and interconnection. Whether it's tuning your own internal heart rhythms, applying specific frequencies to tissue, or conceptualizing the universe as an energetic web, it all points away from isolated mechanics and towards a dynamic, interconnected reality based on energy and information.
Let's quickly recap those standout points. We've got the heart math work, 3 decades suggesting personal coherence ripples outwards.
We have FSM, with that stunning potential 500% increase in cellular energy, ATP, using precise frequencies.
And then the big theories, the ZPF as the underlying energetic sea connecting everything, and the holographic universe suggesting reality itself is interconnected and perhaps mind influenced.
It really shifts the perspective, doesn't it, from thinking of yourself as separate to seeing yourself as a node in this vast energetic network.
Absolutely. We went from the subtlety of microamps healing cells all the way up to the structure of the cosmos. It definitely challenges that old view and puts, well, you, the listener, right in the middle of an energetic exchange that matters.
Which leads us to that final thought, something provocative to chew on, based on Bohm and Pribram's ideas especially. If the universe is holographic, at least in part constructed or interpreted by consciousness, and if, as some sources suggest, consciousness isn't just passive, but is a causal power, what does that mean for where you put your focus each day? How much of your cultivated personal coherence, that intentional state of care, kindness, gratitude, actually matter in the grand scheme? If it's radiating out, how does it influence that larger global coherence, that collective field? That's the profound question these sources leave hanging in the air.